What if I told you that living in a boring city could be a secret weapon to your success? Living in a small rural city means no distractions. It's an ideal setting for diving into books, learning skills, and building your businesses. Because there's nothing to do. I live in Iowa, there's not much going on over here. All people do here is go fishing, go hunting, what typical Midwesterners do. And the beauty is, because Iowa's boring, or because it's boring living in the Midwest and there's nothing going on, well, you kind of have to work, because either way you're going to be bored. Might as well do something with your time. It's not like when you go in Miami and there's yacht parties, you go to LA, there's influencer parties, or you go to New York, the city never sleeps. The problem with living in big cities is that you have a ton of distractions. And with many distractions, it becomes difficult to focus on goals. In this video, I want to delve deeper into the power that a less entertaining city, a small rural city, basically the middle of nowhere, can have in helping you accomplish your goals or developing yourself. And that's the reason why I live in Iowa, in the middle of nowhere. It's very strategic, the reason I live here, because there's nothing to do. I can put all my time and energy on working on my goals. In this type of environment, I've achieved remarkable milestones. I've become a polyglot. I can speak a lot of languages. I've learned multiple skills. I developed multiple businesses to a 6-figure run rate within a couple months, and maintained consistent content creation for my YouTube channel. All thanks to living in Iowa, a place with no distractions. Now, I'm not preaching to live in the middle of nowhere, a boring city for the rest of your life, but it can serve as a powerful springboard. Now, before you tell me that I'm probably a country bumpkin and haven't gone anywhere, let me clarify, I lived everywhere. I've done the digital nomad lifestyle. I've lived in Africa, Europe, Middle East, Asia, North America, South America. I have lived in both massive cities with tens of millions of people to small rural villages with only a handful of people. So I'm no country bumpkin. I'm a seasoned traveler. On another note, when I say live in a less entertaining city or a boring city, I don't mean go out and live in a village with no internet. I've done that before and it's no fun. It's frustrating. So the sweet spot in order to maximize the benefits that I'm going to talk about in this video for a good sized city to work on yourself is a city between 100 to 250,000 people. You gotta live in a mid-sized city of your country of origin. Now, the reason why I'm saying to live in your country of origin is because if you're a digital nomad, you can basically live anywhere. You could easily find a city with 100 to 250,000 people abroad. But the issue lies in the fact that if you're going to go to a new country, if you're going to go abroad, you're going to also want to go and explore. You're not going to be fully committed to working on yourself, to building skills, to reading books, because you're going to be in a new country. You're going to want to explore. Also, an important note, you cannot live on a beach. This is probably the worst mistake you can do. Go out and live in a small beach, right? Still 100 to 250,000 people as population. It's still probably your country of origin. The problem with living in a beach, okay, you're in an environment that generally has like a vacation vibe to it. The people there usually aren't in the mindset for working. They're usually on the mindset for, oh, I'm gonna drink a coconut, go relax on the beach, have a pina colada here and there. No, you do not want that in your life. You gotta be in an environment that's only gonna serve to help you stay focused. Like I was saying earlier, I'm not preaching for you to live in the middle of nowhere, a boring town for the rest of your life. It can be a couple months out of the year where you double down working on yourself, reading books, building skills, and working on your business. Another half of the year, you can go out and explore the world if you wish. But you're gonna have a time period where you're only gonna be working, no distractions. There's a huge payoff living in a small, boring city compared to living in a big city full of distractions. The mental space that you gain from fewer distractions can lead to better decision making and strategic planning in your business and life. You'll have more financial resources available for investing in your business, thanks to not spending your money on parties, drinking, and squandering around. You also gain enhanced productivity and focus, leading to breakthroughs in your entrepreneurial projects. The principle of living in a boring city is straightforward yet impactful. Fewer distractions can unlock your true potential. By intentionally selecting an environment that minimizes interruptions, you create a foundation for peace of mind and leverage it as a springboard for your next major achievement. Now, if you're in the yacht business, of course, go out to Miami, right? If you're an influencer, you can go out in LA, right? That's where you'll better progress, okay? But for the majority of you, if your goal is just developing yourself, building skills, building your online business, you can live anywhere. The monotony of a boring city becomes an advantage, as the lack of external stimuli keeps you grounded and dedicated. There has been countless times where I've been wanting to be distracted, but no matter how much I search, right, there's nothing to do really in Iowa. It's all corn. Some of you might argue that my strategy of living in a boring town, this approach that I have to keep myself accountable, to keep myself focused, okay, demonstrates a lack of willpower to resist distractions. But I see it differently. It's not about struggling against temptation. It's about avoiding the need to fight it altogether. For example, I've stopped drinking alcohol this past year. Why the hell would I go to a bar? Okay, a club, an environment that I know flourishes on alcohol. Everybody's drinking alcohol. Being in this type of environment, it's not gonna be productive for me. It's not gonna be helpful. It's like the saying, you hang out with people that party, you're gonna be the party person. You hang out with people that drink all the time, which is in a bar, this type of environment, I'm eventually gonna come and become a drinker as well. Why place myself in a situation where I'm constantly having to make tough choices? By shaping my environment to align with my goals, I eliminate unnecessary struggle and focus on what truly matters. If you're on a mission, if you wanna build yourself up, build your skills, you cannot be in these big cities because you're only gonna get distracted. And also, you're gonna see money. You're gonna get disheartened seeing people in Bugattis. You're gonna see people on Ocean Drive competing with one another with their supercars. And if you still haven't made something for yourself, it's only gonna hurt you because the women in these cities, they're not gonna pay attention to you because you're nobody yet. And you're gonna feel horrible inside. This is why it's important right now, if you're still starting off or you're building your skills, you're building your business, to ignore the distractions. They're not gonna help you. They're only gonna hurt you. Right now, your goal is to read books, to build skills, to build your business up. And once you make something of yourself, then yeah, heck, go to Miami, go flaunt your supercar, your freaking penthouses. But right now, it's time to work. Now, I do recognize that living in a boring city, right, a less entertaining city in the middle of nowhere can serve as a double-edged sword. Due to living in the middle of nowhere, a small city, you're isolated. You start to have feelings of loneliness. Also, there's not a lot of opportunity to network, right? Because all the big ballers, right, all the big shots live in the big cities. Like I said, living in a boring city, okay, serves as a double-edged sword. Although you're getting a lot done, right? But there's a lot of, I guess, negatives that come with living in a small city. So let me present them to you and also the solutions that I found works best to overcome these issues. Obstacle number one, the fear of missing out on big city opportunities. FOMO. What's worked best for me is I set out clear guidelines and remind myself constantly, why am I here? Okay, I always remind myself, it's strategic. I'm here because I choose to be here. If I wanted to leave Iowa, I could leave any second, right? I work online. I'm here because I want to get work done, right? I want to develop myself, build skills, read books, okay, continue to improve. And if I ever wish to, I guess, enjoy the big city opportunities, I always can. I was just in 2 conferences these past 2 weeks, actually. August 15th through the 18th, I was in a conference in Orlando, Florida called Creator Fest. Okay, it's a conference for the creator economy. And I was in another conference, September 2 to the 5th, called Vid Summit. For YouTubers, you learn from the best, right? Which was in Dallas, Texas, right? And this past couple of weeks, I was in a couple different major metropolises, and I can get to these metropolises with 1 flight. Super easy. And these trips I had to these major cities, okay, re-energized myself. Okay, I came back even stronger, reminding myself why I'm here. Or something else that you could do is just live a couple months out of the year in these boring cities, another couple of months out of the year, just live in a massive city like New York City, okay? This way you have a balance of both. Or you can do 1 month here, 1 month there, 1 month here, 1 month there, or half a year here, half a year there. This way you're always re-energized, okay? You're not stuck in one location. And this way the issue of FOMO, okay, is overcome because you realize, right, you're not stuck in one location, you're here because you have a goal. Now the second obstacle is maintaining motivation without a competitive environment. Now this can be challenging. It's like the saying, right? You are who you hang out with. If the people you're hanging out with in the Midwest or the rural cities that you're staying at for this, I guess, objective of building yourself are just all hillbillies and just alcoholics or whatever it is, people that just don't have a life mission, or you're gonna become like these guys. You're gonna get affected by these guys because you're living in this type of environment. So that's like a fine line that you gotta play. Yes, living in a small city obviously keeps you accountable, keeps you productive, keeps you focused. But also if you're hanging out with the wrong crowd in these small to mid-sized cities, you might also encounter crowds that, because they've never seen money, because they've never traveled the world, okay, their mind view, okay, the way they look at life, completely different than yours. They're here because they have no choice. I'm here in Iowa because it's strategic. I want to build myself. I want to continue to learn, improve. And a lot of people I encounter here in my state, okay, a lot of them never left the city, never left the state. And because they never left, their dreams are all centered to their current environments. That's an issue that can arise because you're not in a competitive environment like Miami where you're seeing Lamborghinis in every second or Bugattis. How do I keep myself like motivated, right? There's no money here, right? There's no form of inspiration here in these boring cities. How do you keep yourself accountable and motivated? What works best for me is whenever I go to these conferences, like for example, I went to 2 conferences these past couple of weeks. I met with a lot of individuals, like-minded individuals that are doing the same things I am. That's the reason I go to these conferences, to learn, to develop, and to make connections. And these connections, okay, although we're probably thousands of miles apart, I still keep in touch with these guys via Instagram, via Facebook, weekly calls. It's also a good way to keep me competitive because we always brainstorm. I connect with these guys, we talk business, we see what they're doing, what I'm doing, learn from one another, and we just keep each other kind of like in a friendly competition, progressing, working hard. Or if you don't have the ability to go to conferences or have the ability to meet high-level individuals, individuals, well, you could always go on Instagram. Follow the people that inspire you. Okay, whenever I need a inspiration for the day or motivation when I'm feeling down, okay, just go on Instagram. I look at the people I look up to, and I look at their profile, look at the things they're doing, look at the things they're buying, look at the places they're going to. I'm like, shit, I want to be like them one day. So that even motivates me more. Even though I'm here, it motivates me knowing that, okay, shit, I'm still on a mission. Don't get me wrong, you can still find these individuals in these rural parts of your country or these small cities to develop yourself. In Iowa, I'm sure there's tons of people that are very successful, wildly successful. These people, maybe they're more low-key. You might not see them flaunting their wealth as if you were in Miami or LA or New York City, right? Each vibe is very different. Each environment is very different. So maybe you just haven't hanged out at the right places yet. I still haven't found the right places here in Iowa. Maybe that's something I gotta do as a homework thing, right? And I guess the last problem that comes with, I guess, living in these boring cities, or actually complementing it with, I guess, working on your goals, working on yourself, is when's enough? When do you stop? When is it okay to say, I worked on myself enough, I built enough skills, okay, I'm ready to move out? It all really depends. What is your objectives? I would say when you already gotten all you can out of living in this boring environment. What do I mean by that? When you're at a level where your current environment is just dragging you down. When you're at this point, that's where you can start deciding, okay, where can I go that makes sense, where I continue to develop myself, but maybe in a bigger arena. In the very beginning, when you're developing yourself, you're like a small fish in a pond. But then, after learning so much, reading so much, you as a fish, you start to get bigger, and this pond starts to fill up with you. So then you gotta find a bigger pond. You gotta continue to develop yourself, because if you're in one place too long, you'll stop growing. So I know that it's not a very clear and concise answer. Just keep in mind, the moment you feel like this place is just dragging you down, you've accomplished everything you wanted to accomplish while being in this environment, then it's okay to take the next step. Go to the bigger cities. Embrace this strategy. Live in a boring town. You have nothing to lose and everything to gain. Align it with your objectives and make choices that support your development. Now take the next step and shape your environment to match your vision and needs. Now, if you want to build your skills and make something of yourself, I recommend you watch this video. It's on monk mode. It changed my life, and I know it will drive you in the right direction to help you achieve your goals.